Fair, accurate, to the point. This is Montana This Morning on Q2.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Montana This Morning. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2015. I'm Victoria Hill, and joining me, freshly clothed, fixing the collar a little bit over here, is Mr. Ed McIntosh.
My mommy dressed me too quickly this morning.
What would you do without me, Ed?
Well, I would just look like a
Big question
mess.
of the day.
Big mess.
Or a popped collar, one of the two.
That's right, yeah.
What do we have to look forward to?
Thank you. Thank you
there
very
we go.
much.
Now he's Elvis. Elvis is in the building. Where did Ed go? I don't know. It's Monday, everyone.
But transformed just like that. Here's a look around the region. Temperatures this morning are going to start off with this cloud cover, so that's held things up a little bit during the overnight hours. 55 now with the northeast wind at 7 miles an hour, 55%, or rather 62% relative humidity as we're looking at a steady barometer across the area. Readings as cool as 41 just outside of Red Lodge. Readings around us have been held up a little bit by those cloud covers, but you also see an isolated shower thunderstorm or two that's been moving through northern Wyoming and eastern Montana, and that's going to be the favorite area as we get into the next couple of days as well. Across the rest of the state, we have readings into the 40s and 50s, pretty widespread, and so temperatures running a little bit on the cool side for this time of the year again today. Much as we saw yesterday, we'll hang on to some of that cloud cover and keep readings probably right close to 70 degrees in the Billings area by later in the afternoon. Slight chance of showers. We'll explain the rest of the forecast as things will warm up towards the middle of the week here in a few minutes.
Gradual start, I like that, instead of just punching us with hot weather right away.
You know, we may as well get off to just kind of climb the hill a little bit by the middle of the week.
I'm all for that. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Victoria.
We begin our news this Monday morning on the international front. A U.S. airstrike in Libya has reportedly taken out a wanted terrorist. The Libyan government says Mokhtar Belmokhtar has several others were killed. Belmokhtar was charged with leading the attack on a gas plant in Algeria in 2013 that killed 35 hostages, including 3 Americans. Meanwhile, the prison worker accused of helping 2 convicted killers escape from the Clinton Correctional Facility has a court appearance scheduled for today. While Joyce Mitchell faces a judge in Plattsburgh, New York, hundreds of officers will be back out searching for fugitives David Sweat and Richard Matt. Prosecutors say Mitchell gave the men hacksaw blades, chisels, and a punch and a screwdriver bit. And last, Jeb Bush will officially enter the race for the Republican presidential nomination later today in Miami. The 62-year-old former Florida governor is one of 11 major Republicans running for the nomination. Turning now to news closer to home. Almost 1 year after a well-known Billings artist was stabbed to death outside his studio, his killer is set to be sentenced in Yellowstone County District Court today. 24-year-old Zachary Wiseman admitted in April he murdered Michael Sample for what was likely less than $100. A plea agreement recommends Wiseman will be sentenced to 60 years in prison with a parole restriction on the first 20 years. Sample was a local philanthropist known for giving out money to those in need. On the day of the murder, Wiseman went looking for money and found Sample outside his studio in downtown Billings. Court documents suggest Wiseman may have been on drugs when he stabbed Sample 3 times in the chest. Sample died at the scene. Wiseman is being held at the Yellowstone County Jail on a $510,000 bond. Well, Stillwater Mining Company, the largest Montana company by revenue, still has not reached an agreement with its union workers. The initial deadline of June 1st has come and gone, and as we first told you last week, an initial vote to ratify the contract has failed, but negotiations are continuing. According to the United Steelworkers website, as negotiations forge ahead, workers are told to show up for regularly scheduled shifts. 2 meetings are set for this week as part of the monthly meetings. Those are scheduled for Thursday and Friday. Calls by Q2 to union reps for comment have not been returned. Well, 2 Montana men have died in a single vehicle crash over the weekend in western North Dakota. On Saturday night, 28-year-old Aaron Clark of Park City and 32-year-old Christopher Hoyland of Glendive were the passengers in a pickup truck when it rolled several times. According to our North Dakota CBS affiliate KX, the driver was traveling south on Highway 1806 near Watford City when the pickup failed to follow the road's curve, causing it to go into a ditch, hit a highway sign. The driver then overcorrected, which caused the truck to roll. The GMC pickup came to rest on its roof. Clark and Hoyland were pronounced dead on the scene. The driver is currently recovering in a hospital in Minot. Clark was the only man who was not wearing a seatbelt. One other passenger, a 28-year-old Billings man, survived the crash uninjured. Well, thank you so much for waking up with us here on Montana this morning. Coming up in a few minutes, the president of an NAACP branch in Washington backs out of a meeting set for today. This comes as people are demanding answers on her true identity. It's now 56 degrees here in downtown Billings, and the time is now 5:35. But up next, Ed will have a look at today's weather forecast.
Temperatures warming up into the upper 60s to about 70. It's going to be a lot like it was yesterday with a mix of clouds and sun. Showers possible by the evening, but the risk is fairly low for tonight. We'll show you where we'll have a little better chance in a moment. The day's getting longer, and today, despite the clouds, it's Smile Power Day.
Just smile.
Just smile.
Smile and
the world
nod.
smiles with you. Hello, Russell Nimitz.
Hey, good Monday morning.
Russell has a great smile.
He does.
Oh, we all have great smiles.
We do.
We have to put them on.
That's why we're
even
on
our
TV.
tough mornings.
Oh, yes, we do. You never know what's going on in our
I
personal
know, right?
lives. So we just show up and we're like,
Yeah.
hey, ready for the day.
Each of us sometimes have our own personal turmoils going on, and
Yeah.
usually mine is just between my two ears. But
But you have a smile in between your
know,
two
right?
ears as well.
oh goodness,
Oh my goodness.
But
It's the
anyway.
frown in the back of his mind that we don't see.
that's right. That's right.
You
But
did a good job.
You guys help me get through my day and make my day better.
Oh, thank you. Same here, Russell. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Unfortunately, over the weekend there weren't too many smiles in Miles City. If you haven't heard
Exactly.
the news, big blow to the eastern Montana and that region's livestock industry with the loss of Miles City Livestock Commission, but the owners say they're going to rebuild. So this morning we have a bit more of an update from that devastation down there.
Nothing like a good bounce back and come back after
and
getting
Miles
knocked down
City is
like
a
that.
good, strong community, and of course, it wasn't too many years ago they had that devastating fire on Main Street there, and they rebuilt. It's stronger, and the same will happen with the auction market there. So
Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's go. Keep the energy going.
keep the energy.
Good, positive vibes. Just
All
smile.
right, let's just smile our way through the forecast. All right, little smile power.
That's eerie.
Priceless.
I didn't mean to scare people this early in the morning. Here's our satellite radar mix for today. We have some showers and thunderstorms. You see the little flickers here. We still have some lightning that's happening here in southeastern Montana. The shaded areas show really for this afternoon, this evening, where we have a slightly better chance of some stronger storms to start to form. We're going to be watching northern Wyoming, extreme southern Montana. The chance of storms isn't all that great, but the ones that do form could carry perhaps some lightning and some gusty winds along with them. So we stay a little on the cool side today, those 60s and low 70s. As we get into the evening hours, this next approaching disturbance gets some of those showers or thunderstorms going through the evening, and some of this could carry into the overnight hours as well. There goes that system punching through. Now, temperatures will start to recover a little bit tomorrow. We'll start to see more readings in the 70s, warmer by Wednesday. Highs could start moving back up in the mid to lower 80s. Each day, though, you see this slight chance of showers or thunderstorms continue to develop, and that'll be the case all the way through the end of the week. We'll gradually warm the temperatures up midweek, and then each afternoon, each evening, we'll be looking at these stray showers and thunderstorms. Across the area this morning, 40s and 50s, pretty much across the state. Our 55 in Billings and also in Missoula on the warm end of things, and looking at a lot of readings around us into the 40s and 50s. Worland down into Wyoming sitting at 60 degrees this morning with some of that cloud cover, but as cool as 39 in Havre this morning. We're looking at 40s from Jordan, Glendive over towards Baker. Miles City stands out a little bit at 52 degrees. Williston at 46. So we're going to translate that mainly into the 60s to low 70s. The warmest spot of the state looks to be northwest Montana, west of the divide from the Flathead Valley down towards around Missoula, where we could be close to 80 degrees. Otherwise, expect a bit more cloud cover. It'll be like yesterday, little breaks of sun, and then temperatures will be held back by a bit of cloud cover through the rest of the day. And we'll put in a slight chance of showers or thunderstorms, especially this afternoon and this evening, especially through extreme southern Montana, northern Wyoming. Readings overnight will be into mainly the 40s and 50s, so it's going to be a lot like this morning. These little hit and miss showers or thunderstorms that linger into the morning hours. And the Billings extended forecast, close to 70 degrees today. Part of that will just depend on how much cloud cover we have, and then a progressive warm up with that slight chance of showers or thunderstorms staying in the mix. At 5:42, Russ has a look at Farm and Ranch news.
Well, thank you, Ed, and good morning, everyone. Well, after the devastating fire that engulfed and eventually burned Miles City Livestock Commission down on Saturday, this morning all that remains are the eerie and skeletal remains of twisted metal and other metal infrastructure. Now, the cause of the fire is still unknown, but officials say the state fire marshal is expected to begin the investigation this week. Although the fire destroyed the main building and more, the best news is no humans or livestock were injured in Saturday's sale. Now, Miles City Livestock Commission is owned by Bart and Misty Medjed, and they have told us that there will be no sale tomorrow as they gather portable scales and corrals, but next Tuesday, June 23rd sale is a go. Now, this morning I also wanted to mention that company officials with Frontier Stockyards, which was located inside the auction market, will be up and running this morning and back in business at frontierstockyards.com. In the meantime, to check out more pictures and video, including an update from our network's Lane Nordland, who was actually on the scene of the fire shortly after it was first reported, you can visit us online at northernag.net. And again, we certainly send our best wishes to Bart and Misty Medjed and the entire crew there at Miles City Livestock Commission as they regroup and eventually rebuild one of eastern Montana's most important market centers. With that, let's go ahead and take a quick look back at some of your ag markets from late last week, where the cash cattle picture did finally develop late Friday afternoon, and the best we could find are those $155 cattle, which you see on your screen, and 246 on the rail. As far as local markets are concerned, again, just to recap last week's Superior Livestock Corn Belt Classic out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Over 66,000 head featured in that one from our region, Wyoming and Montana. 5 to 6 weight steers as high as 328 a pound, and 6 to 7 weights topping at 281. This morning, cash hogs are steady in the Midwest, 52 up to 54 cents. And the grain markets are trading mixed to lower as far as wheat futures are concerned. July winter wheat at 543, spring wheat at 554, and July corn futures at 353. That's a look at the ag markets, but stay with us. We have a lot more headed your way when Montana This Morning continues.
We're back, everyone. The time is now 5:48, and there's a cloudy look over the city of Billings. Today should make for a nice, cool start to our day. Taking a look at stories from around the world, Spokane NAACP President Rachel Dolezal will not address the controversy surrounding her race today, as previously reported. In a message to the NAACP chapter, Dolezal had planned to make a statement during today's monthly membership meeting regarding her race and credibility. That meeting is now canceled. Dolezal's race has come under question after her estranged mother claimed she is white but is being dishonest and deceptive with her identity. She has identified herself as at least partly African American, but her Montana birth certificate states she was born to two parents who say they are Caucasian. Police in Louisville, Kentucky are investigating an officer-involved shooting that happened on Saturday. The city's police chief says he thinks the situation escalated so quickly there was no time for a less lethal option. Officer Nathan Blanford was dispatched to check out a report of an assault. Surveillance video showed Blanford confronted a 35-year-old man. The video then shows the man coming back to attack the officer with a metal flagpole. Blanford fired 2 shots, fatally wounding the attacker. And last, the comet lander Philae has awakened from a 7-month hibernation and managed to communicate with Earth for more than a minute. The German Aerospace Center, which operates Philae, said the probe resumed communication on Saturday with a brief data signal that said, quote, "Hello Earth, can you hear me?" It had sent about 300 packages of data to Earth. The next couple of weeks will tell scientists exactly how long the lander will last and allow the scientists to obtain more data. The probe became the first spacecraft to ever land on the comet. In today's business news, Saudi Arabia opens its stock market to international investors. Jill Wagner has the details in your Money Watch report.
Gas prices jumped again last week, about 5 cents per gallon on average, but AAA says relief is coming. The agency says crude oil prices are falling, and a new forecast from the Energy Information Administration predicts that gas prices will drop every month through the end of the year. Here on Wall Street, investors are looking to rebound from Friday's losses. The Dow dropped 141 points, the Nasdaq fell 31. For the first time today, Saudi Arabia is opening its stock market to international investors. The stock market is the biggest in the Middle East. It's worth about $530 billion. It's composed mostly of energy and financial stocks. And Alibaba has conquered online shopping, and now it wants to bring streaming video to China. The company is starting a service similar to Netflix. It's called Tmall Box Office. Netflix itself reportedly wants to gain access to stream entertainment in China, but it's an uphill battle for a foreign company. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, follow me on Twitter at Jill Wagner CBS. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jill Wagner.
So what kind of weather do we have in store across our region?
I'm not going to tell you quite yet.
Okay, make us wait,
That's right.
wait. Looking a little different in, was it North Carolina,
Yeah,
though?
let's take a look at the
Sunny.
beaches there as we've got a beautiful start to the day. We'll show you what's going to happen quickly across the nation, plus our forecast coming up in a moment. Thunderstorms, the potential for some pretty heavy rain coming in through the Gulf states as we get into the course of the next couple of days. This band of green shows we have the potential for some stronger storms, and already starting to see some of that moisture stream move out around our nation's capital, New York, and towards the New England states. For us, we're still looking at potential for some stronger storms in the green shaded areas, with some potential for some flooding in northern Wyoming. We've got a fairly good amount of moisture to our south and around us, but we really don't have the trigger to get a lot of showers or thunderstorms going out of this. Temperatures today will be mainly into the 60s and 70s across the state. Isolated showers or thunderstorms by later in the day will favor the southern half of Montana through northern Wyoming. And again, we have some of these areas where we have some saturated ground and we could have some stronger storms that put down some heavier rain, some frequent lightning with them as well. Warmest area today will likely be from Missoula up north around Kalispell into the Flathead Valley. In our area, we'll be looking for highs today mainly into the 60s to low 70s, much as we saw yesterday, kind of a mix of clouds and sun. By later in the afternoon and evening in particular, a chance of stray showers or thunderstorms, and some of these could linger into the overnight hours. We'll wake up 40s, 50s, much as we're seeing this morning, and then readings tomorrow will start to edge upward just a little bit. In our Billings extended forecast, readings gradually warming through midweek, 60s, 70s, then likely hitting 80s by Wednesday, Thursday, and pretty much any afternoon. There's at least a slight chance of showers or thunderstorms. If we're going to see any strong storms, Thursday right now looks like the best bet for that. Strong to severe storms. Friday, a little more widespread showers or thunderstorms, but less likely that they'll be really strong with hail and gusty winds. It's 5:57 now. We'll have a look at headlines and current conditions after this.
Fair, accurate, to the point. This is Montana This Morning on Q2.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Montana This Morning. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2015. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm Victoria Hill.
And I'm Ed McIntosh on our way to another cool day, relatively speaking, for this time of the year.
It was pleasant yesterday, too. Can we expect something similar to what happened yesterday here in Billings?
I think so.
Let him look over his crystal ball and tell us, or his weather screen, one or the other.
Yeah, we'll take a look right now because we still have some of the clouds as we saw yesterday. Temperatures starting off at 55 with some of the clouds, a little bit of a northeast wind along with it. So temperatures starting off feeling fairly comfortable, and for the afternoon we'll see a few more of these showers or thunderstorms. You see a little bit in eastern Montana this morning, and it's going to develop much the same way. Few stray showers or thunderstorms, and a lot of this could favor areas to the south and east of Billings as we get later in the afternoon. Readings are starting off in the 40s and 50s pretty much all across the region, and the clouds have actually held up the temperatures a little bit for us through south central and southeastern Montana and northern Wyoming. Worland right now 59, the warm spot, 55 at the airport in Billings, and then a real mix of 40s and 50s. As we get later on in the day, we could make upper 60s, close to 70. Part of that will just depend on the cloud cover. And today is the day that, despite the clouds, use a little smile power.
A good smile can get you a long way. As long as you look happy, it should attract positive vibes, and it's always a good thing to be happy.
Or a little suspicion.
A little suspicion. Why is he or she so happy? What is he or she up to? But really, positive. I love positive people who are always smiling and looking at the positive side of things. So try to be one of those people today and wear a smile. We've got ours on, right, Ed?
That's right, Victoria.
Okay, well, we have a few stories to get to, so let's transition over to that, shall we?
Okay, thanks, Victoria.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Our top story this Monday, a U.S. airstrike in Libya has reportedly taken out a wanted terrorist. The Libyan government says Mokhtar Belmokhtar and several others were killed. Belmokhtar was charged with leading the attack on a gas plant in Algeria in 2013 that killed 35 hostages, including 3 Americans. Meanwhile, the prison worker accused of helping 2 convicted killers escape from the Clinton Correctional Facility has a court appearance scheduled for today. While Joyce Mitchell faces a judge in Plattsburgh, New York, hundreds of officers will be back out searching for fugitives David Sweat and Richard Matt. Prosecutors say Mitchell gave the men hacksaw blades, chisels, a punch, and a screwdriver bit. Wrapping up our national news headlines, the crowded field of Republicans looking for the next president gets a little larger later today. Brian Webb has the latest from New York.
Jeb Bush has a new logo and video to help kick off his run for the Republican presidential nomination.
America's best days are in front of us, and we are going to lead the world.
The former Florida governor will make his candidacy official at a rally in Miami today. The 62-year-old joins 10 other Republicans in the hunt for the nomination. But Bush says his life experiences and ability to make tough decisions will set him apart. For the Democrats, Hillary Clinton campaigned Sunday in Iowa, distancing herself from President Obama in his battle with Congress over a trade agreement.
The president should listen to and work with his allies in Congress, starting with Nancy Pelosi.
But independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who is challenging Clinton in the Democratic race, says she needs to take a more definitive stand on trade.
I would hope very much that Secretary Clinton will side with every union in this country, virtually every environmental group, many religious groups, and say that this TPP policy is a disaster.
Sanders says he can beat Clinton, but he faces an uphill battle at the polls. Brian Webb for CBS News, New York.
And former Virginia Senator Jim Webb is also considering a Democratic bid. Turning to news closer to home, almost 1 year after a well-known Billings artist was stabbed to death outside his studio, his killer is set to be sentenced in Yellowstone County District Court today. 24-year-old Zachary Wiseman admitted in April he murdered Michael Sample for what was likely less than $100. A plea agreement recommends Wiseman be sentenced to 60 years in prison with a parole restriction on the first 20 years. Sample was a local philanthropist known for for giving out money to those in need. On the day of the murder, Wiseman went looking for money and found sample outside his studio in downtown Billings. Court documents suggest Wiseman may have been on drugs when he stabbed Sample 3 times in the chest. Sample died at the scene. Wiseman is being held at the Yellowstone County Jail on a $510,000 bond. And now, switching gears, for this month's Awaiting Child, we introduce you to 4 incredible kids looking for their forever homes. Here's Q2's Travis Schlepp with their stories.
Steven, Sierra, Skyla, and Skylar are thick as thieves, for the most part.
My sisters, Sarah and Skyla, they're fun sisters, except when they get in fights.
That's Steven. He's 13, the leader of the pack, and definitely the most honest.
I'm a good kid. I listen really well. Sometimes I don't listen to directions because I'm daydreaming.
Sierra, 10, is the artist of the bunch. She spends her free time drawing.
Kind of like faces and hair and persons.
Skyla, age 9, is adventurous, but don't get her and her brother confused.
Well, people get mixed up with me and Skylar because I'm Skyla, and they add an R to Skyla, so it has to be Skylar.
Who's Skylar, you ask? Well, he's the youngest, and he's definitely the silliest.
What do you hope your adopted parents are like?
They look like old people.
Old people? The girls go to Huntley Project and the boys Beartooth. But now that school's over, they already have their summers planned out.
I'll play basketball and football, draw, go swimming, and eat ice cream. To play my Nintendo. Dodgeball, kickball, going swimming, stay up, and kind of sleeping in the morning.
And although they don't always see eye to eye, they can agree on what type of forever family they all want.
Well, they be kind and they give us sweets once a week. That they're kind and sweet. They care about us.
In Huntley, Travis Schlepp, MTN News.
Well, they look like very sweet kids who all know what they want. Now, if you're interested in adopting, you can visit our website at KTVQ.com to see their story again and learn about other kids who are looking for their forever homes. Now, before we get to break, a big congratulations goes out to a Cut Bank woman as she was crowned Miss Montana 2015. Danielle Weinman won a $5,000 scholarship and will compete in the Miss America pageant. The 23-year-old woman also took home the preliminary award for evening gown. She performed a piano solo for her talent. Her year-long service platform is titled Growing Compassion, One Scene at a Time. The first runner-up in the pageant was Olivia Dowler of Bozeman. The Miss America pageant is in September and it takes place in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Well, stick with us here on Montana This Morning. Still ahead, 3 children are injured over the past week as multiple shark attacks on a North Carolina beach have residents on high alert. It's now 55 degrees here in downtown Billings and the time is now 6:08. But first, today's ag and weather together, then we'll have your Road Watch report.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning, where it's time for Ag and Weather Together. And Ed, it looks like growers who battle wheat stem sawfly now have a new weapon that they can consider using against it.
It's a good thing. The wheat producers will be able to use a granular insecticide against the #1 small grain insect pest in Montana. The insecticide's name is Tymet 20G.
That's right. Now, Montana State University's pesticide education specialist Cecil Thorpe says Tymet 20G is already used on some other crops, but the Montana Department of Agriculture recently issued a 24C special location need registration, which essentially allows the insecticide to also be used in wheat.
The insecticide must be incorporated into the soil at least 85 days before harvest. Growers need to be aware that this insecticide is extremely toxic to humans, other mammals, fish, and birds.
Now, they tell us that research has proven the effectiveness of Tymet 20G against the wheat stem sawfly, but applications must be completed before the insect begins to fly and lay eggs, which in Montana they say can begin at the end of May or sometime during the month of June.
So now is the time, really, getting down to the end of it. For more information, growers are encouraged to contact their local MSU Extension agent.
There you go, a new control measure to help fight what we just said, this region's most devastating insect to our cereal grain industry.
That's right. Okay. So from stem flies to shoe fly, I'm going to get out of the way and let you do a little look at traffic this morning.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ed, and good morning, everyone. It's now time for Road Watch. Well, paving begins this morning on 48th Street West and King Avenue, proceeding north to Grand Avenue. They ask, please watch for heavy equipment, workers, and flaggers in place as that construction project gets underway this Monday morning. Elsewhere, just a friendly reminder that work continues there on Poly Drive from 32nd Street West out to 38th Street West. Please expect Poly Drive to be closed to all through traffic from 38th to Zimmerman and from Zimmerman there to Olson Drive. All local residents, though, are being allowed through this particular project. And finally, construction continues at the intersection of King Avenue East and Calhoun Lane, with Calhoun closed to all through traffic from King Avenue to the Underpass Avenue area. Currently, the traffic light at the intersection of King Avenue East and Calhoun is turned off, making that a four-way all-stop. Well, that's going to do it for now, but please stay with us because, as always, we have a lot more headed your way when Montana This Morning continues.
Isolated thunderstorms still exiting southeastern Montana, moving through South Dakota. The shaded areas show where we have a flood watch into effect. We still have some saturated ground, still have some of the creeks and streams in northern Wyoming running at bank full, and so we'll continue to watch that over the course of the next few days. Now we're going to shift the green shaded area into the Storm Prediction Center's highlights for today. This is the area that's most likely to pick up strong to severe storms. We're still at a marginal risk, but I just want to highlight this area of southern Montana and northern Wyoming as being the area where we have the best chance of storms. Northern Montana remains a little bit quieter today. We're going to put in our True View forecast. It's still a little on the cool side. Temperatures mainly into the 60s to low 70s, much as we saw yesterday with some of the cloud cover. More sunshine towards the western portion of Montana and could hit some readings well up into the 70s, even close to 80 around Missoula by later in the day. So here we are about 6 o'clock. There's where that chance of a shower or thunderstorm starts to develop. And some of this, as we're seeing this morning, could linger into the overnight hours of tonight. So watching northern Wyoming, southeast Montana for a stray shower or thunderstorm. Then tomorrow, here we are about 6 o'clock, and it's pretty much the same. We're going to be a little bit warmer, but we still have the chance of these little pockets where we could see a slightly stronger storm by tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday overall will warm up a little bit. But again, by the time we're later in the day, those stray showers or thunderstorms start to develop. Really looking at very isolated, strong storms over the course of the next few days. A few stray showers or thunderstorms will pop up. Temperatures into the 40s and 50s across the map this morning. Great Falls has just slid down to 37 degrees. It's 55 at the airport in Billings, 52 in Miles City. You can see little flickers of lightning here through southeast Montana for this morning. And again, by later in the day, a few isolated showers or thunderstorms, especially across southern Montana. Highs will be into the 60s to low 70s, with that exception of around Missoula up towards the Flathead Valley and up towards Glacier National Park. Our area temperatures today mainly in the 60s to low 70s. 68 in Billings would be right where we were officially yesterday. So we should be in the ballpark of that today. Part of that will just depend on the cloud cover for later in the afternoon. Highs gradually warm through midweek, but that chance of a shower or thunderstorm just kind of lingers each day right on through the end of the work week.
That's something else I observed over the weekend, were some pretty nice lightning storms out in the distance. They were kind of hidden behind clouds, so the sky would kind of light up and scare you a little bit and go, oh, what just happened? What was that? So that's something else to watch. So we'll look forward to more.
Yeah, it'll be that way pretty much all week long.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep my eyes on the sky. Let's take a look now at anniversaries and birthdays to find out who's celebrating today. We have Kyle and Nicole Jordan celebrating 2 years together. Then Tom and Rhonda Meyer, happy 24th anniversary today. Roxy and Ed Kraft, 52 years old for their wedding anniversary today.
Congratulations to them. Renee Audie is celebrating birthday today. Sarah Hafer, happy birthday. Mac McCrocklin, happy birthday. And Cheryl Mankel, 51 again.
All right. Birthday wishes continue to Taven Stieg, turning 5. Hey, my neighbor Melanie Bodine Schwartz, turning 49 today. Justin Arnie is turning 24.
I bet since she lived next to you, Melanie feels like she's 10 years older. I'm kidding. With all the shenanigans you pull. I'm joking, so. Russell. I'll give you a hard time. Heather,
well, we haven't burned the neighborhood down yet.
There you go. Heather Gerner is turning 26 today. Happy birthday, Heather. Cam Thideau is 70, and then Lori Onebear. Happy belated birthday, Lori. She's 39 again, and then Roland Lawrence, 22 years old today.
And if you have a birthday or anniversary, you can mail it into the street address. Email us at montanathismorning@ktvq.com or give Allison a call during business hours, 252-5611.
Okay, the time is now 6:21, and coming up after the break, we have a unique story coming out of the town of Drummond. So we'll have to listen and see what that's all about. We'll be right back after this break, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. The time is now 6:24. Well, a very special gift for Montanans is coming from a very unique man. Some small-town mountain monograms are getting lit up. MTN's Ariana Lake met the man behind the lights as he shared his story of hometown pride. Take a look.
Have you seen the D? My God, the D, I mean, it's beautiful.
Drummond resident Jim Oley is determined to put his hometown's name in lights. Solar lights. Locals say Oley is known for giving back to the community that helped raise him.
He's Jim. I call him Jimmer.
As little kids, we were always running all around on this hill.
And some things never change. Oley still spends many warm summer days trekking up the D Hill in Drummond. But these days, he's planting solar lights.
And I just decided, you know, an idea is just an idea until you act on it. So I decided the next day I'd go get some solar lights in Missoula.
It started out with 14 lights. Then friends decided to help out. At only 97 cents a light, he was able to drastically increase the D's brightness with the donations.
The D that sits above Drummond has been here since 1935. Now it's illuminated by over 100 solar lights every night.
But he didn't stop there. Now he's illuminated the G in Phillipsburg and the H in Hall.
He's a friend who will go the extra distance to make things better for everyone. People driving at night can look and see maybe a little bit of brightness on a dark night. That's because of Jim.
These mountain monograms are now a shining beacon to travelers in the night. Oley hopes it brightens people's lives.
I think it inspires people, you know, and every night when I come through here, I just look up at it and I'm like, that's really cool. So it makes you feel good. You know, that's kind of what it's all about, is just kind of making your heart feel good and, you know, making you smile.
He may be one man in a small town in Montana, but Oley has touched the lives of many with his projects.
In the bottom of my heart, thanks, Jim.
Reporting in Drummond, Ariana Lake, MTN News.
Well, what a nice addition to make those letters pop. And Oley says he plans to contact several more towns near Drummond to light up their hometown letter. We'll be right back after this break with more headlines. Welcome back, everyone. The time is now 6:29. There's a look over the beautiful city of Billings for you this morning. Looking a little cloudy, so hey, if you wanted to get out and get some physical activity in, no sweating there because you've got the clouds to keep you away from the sun. Well, let's take a look at a few stories from around the world this morning. There were a pair of shark attacks Sunday along a North Carolina beach. The first victim was a 13-year-old girl. She lost part of her arm and was severely bitten on her left leg. About 90 minutes later, about 2 miles away on the same stretch of beach, a 16-year-old boy was attacked. He lost his left arm. Last Thursday, along a stretch of beach in the same county, a 13-year-old girl was also attacked by a shark. She suffered minor cuts to her foot. Both of yesterday's victims are listed in fair condition. There were no lifeguards on duty at the time. Officials say they expect the beaches to be open today. And next, we take you south of Russia to the Georgian capital of Tbilisi, where powerful flash floods destroyed buildings and tossed cars onto their sides. More than a dozen people have died and many more are still missing. But the danger didn't stop there. Dozens of animals are now roaming the streets. They got loose in the chaos after floodwaters crashed through their enclosures. A bear was found taking refuge on a second-story air conditioner. Some animals were swept away in the floodwaters and drowned. Others were shot dead before they could do any harm. Residents even discovered animals washed up on their balconies. Now from Texas to Alaska, a cat survived 64 days trapped in a moving box. His name is Moosey. The little guy is being called a miracle cat. He traveled by truck, then by boat on the ocean, and then he took a train up to Fairbanks. Moosey went missing during a move, and his family thought he'd ran away. What they eventually found was a severely dehydrated and very scared little Moosey in a box on their futon. But his vet says the prognosis is good. For now, he'll have to be fed through a tube. And Ed, you know, they say cats have 9 lives, and this cat has definitely proven that theory, has he not?
Boy, that's for sure. I think he probably went through 8 of the 9 right there.
Yeah, poor little guy. The owner said that when she opened up the box that he was hiding in, he was trying so hard to meow and give it his all and everything. That has to be heartbreaking to see your little best friend, you know, struggling like that. But I'm glad to say he's going to make a recovery, and good for him. Just don't do that again, Moosey, okay?
Don't do it again.
We want you to live out the rest of your last life as long as possible.
And coming from Victoria the cat lady, this is a good thing.
I even got a mug on my birthday. I don't think I told anybody this. On my birthday from my mom that says crazy cat lady. That's when you know it's serious. Your mom gets you a crazy cat lady.
Yeah. Let's take a look across
it's the
region
joke.
as we start getting into the Gulf states. We're watching an increasing chance of some heavy rain here as the system continues to wind around and come on shore. The potential for a lot of rain out of this as we start looking into the next couple of days. We're going to be watching for potential flooding, first around the Houston area, and some of this could start to spread a little more inland. During the day today, the green shaded areas, a chance of some stronger storms, and this is a big swath from over here into the southern plains all the way over towards the eastern seaboard, and we do have some of that potential here, especially by this evening for areas south of us. We're not really expecting real heavy rains, but the storms we see could have some lightning, some gusty winds along with them, especially here through southern Montana, and some pockets perhaps of some heavier rain, but most of it's going to stay to the south. Now, much as we're seeing here this morning, as we take a look across the region, we're going to be looking at some of these stray showers or thunderstorms forming through the afternoon. Temperatures this morning are starting off in the 40s and 50s, 55 in Billings and 54 in Livingston, 52 in Miles City. There's some of those showers or thunderstorms from the overnight hours, and a little quieter to the north. It's dropped down to 37 in Great Falls, but 52 in Helena this hour. Some of the warmer readings by later in the afternoon will be over here in northwest Montana. But while we have these few showers, let's take our clock out through the day. By this afternoon and this evening, you can see some of these stronger storm cells that are starting to form through especially northern Wyoming, and some of these coming off the mountains. So here we are by 5 in the evening. By the time we start getting to about news time tonight, we're going to be looking at the potential for some stronger storms. But again, these smaller cells. Take the clock into tomorrow morning. Some of those storms have started to move over here to eastern Montana. We could see some pockets of some heavier rain with some of those. Then we'll take it into the afternoon, and again, another push comes through. So we're just basically looking at this opportunity for showers or thunderstorms to develop once we get into the afternoon and evening hours. Statewide temperatures mainly into the 60s to low 70s. That'll be the story in our area today. The green shaded areas showing the potential for some flooding through northern Wyoming with saturated ground. And then a little bit warmer here as we look into the northwest portion of the state. Today, a little bit of a north breeze, about 5 to 15 miles an hour. Slight chance of afternoon and evening showers or thunderstorms, and kind of a repeat process on that chance of storms each afternoon through our extended forecast. Temperatures progressively warming from today into the middle of the week. 6:35, more after this on Montana This Morning.
It's 6:37 and it's time for sports. Well, it was another action-packed All-Star weekend in the Magic City. Casey Conlon joins us with highlights from the annual Roundtable Basketball Series.
That's right. Hello, everybody. Time once again for your Monday morning sports report. The Montana-Wyoming All-Star Series kicked off Friday night with 2 Montana wins. So the Treasure Staters were hoping for a clean sweep Saturday on their home floor at Rocky. We'll start with the boys. Trace Tinkle named Mr. Basketball before the contest, but it was the Billings boys showing off in their hometown early. Wes Danny Betcher, the Rocky commit, with a nice post move on his soon-to-be home floor. Then it's Kendall Manuel showing off the sweet stroke behind the screen for the deep rainbow 3. Splash. Back to West now. Jared Samuelson in the corner for a 3 of his own. The Montana commit gives the Montana team a 6-point lead. But Wyoming never let them get away. End of the first quarter, Riverton's Chris Quayle pulls up, hits the jumper right before the quarter buzzer. Then in the second, Quayle, the nice dish to Kakahe Black, who hangs and hits, plus the foul. Wyoming pulled even with the Treasure Staters, but Montana with a push back. Tinkle, the defensive board. Check out the lead pass. For Skyview's Trayvon Strong, Montana had a 2-point lead at the half. Third quarter, this is what fans have been waiting for. Watch Tinkle, back cut. Manuel throws it up. Tinkle throws it down. The pretty alley-oop got everyone on their feet. It wasn't easy, but Montana gets the sweep, 92-85, your final. The girls kicked off the night with their final high school game. Montana led 37-29 at the half, but again stretched it out in the third. Gardner's Hannah Dean posts inside and gets the bucket. She's headed to Carroll in the fall. Then watch the one-woman show that is Fairfield's Liz Klinker. The rebound. Then coast to coast through the D, gets it off the window. Impressive stuff from the Utah State commit. Wyoming trying to hang around. Cheyenne's Emily Evans takes this the whole way. Cowgirls would make it single digits in the fourth. For Too Much Montana Tonight, Capitals Mackenzie Johnston showing off her pure point guard skills. Nice feed to Klinker for the bucket. Then Johnston, the perfect entry pass to Manhattan's Brooke Jones. Grizz really going to like Johnston for the next 4 years. And how about CMR's Taylor Edwards? Strong to the hole, absorbs the contact, gets the runner. Montana, the series sweeps, 75-57 the final, in front of a very happy home state. Congratulations to all the players. It's definitely been a pleasure watching that group over the years. They will be hard to top. That's all from here, so let's send it back to you guys.
It's time for trending, and today, Ed, we're going to St. Louis, Missouri, which is known for
Ribs.
the ribs, or
The Arch.
the arch. Yes, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. Well, it's a nerve-wracking job, but somebody has got to do it. The nation's tallest monument, the St. Louis Gateway Arch, needs to stay clean, of course, and the U.S. National Park Service released this video of crews scaling the arch to clean it and collect samples of discoloration for a corrosion study. Now, the Gateway Arch is about 630 feet above the city of St. Louis, and Ed, that's one thing I always wondered as a child when my family would go on vacations there. How does it look when you're up top on top of the arch, but from the outside? We went from the inside, but I was always curious, was it like a slide? Can you slide down? And
I don't think so.
I don't think you'd safely slide down the side of that thing.
I don't think so either.
Now that I know.
Yeah, but also, if you look at that video there, they're out there, they're up there strapped on, rappelling down the arch, and what they give them, like Mr. Clean magic erasers out there? Look at that.
Here you go, do all this hard work. Give it a little elbow grease,
Yeah,
you know?
there you go.
Give it a little force. There you go. I would be scrubbing slower than like, I'd get fired. You're cleaning way too slow,
That's
Victoria.
right.
Get out of here.
One hand firmly planted on the arch at all times.
Hugging on to something else. So
Let's
there's
hope-
that video for the day, folks. Hope it scared you as badly as it scared us.
Well, yeah, now you go to work and say, well, at least I'm not out cleaning the arch. Temperatures into the 60s to low 70s by later in the day. Generally partly to mostly cloudy through the afternoon. Light wind. There is a slight risk of showers or thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening. A lot of that will favor areas from Billings to the south. Very hit and miss storms throughout this evening, much as we saw during the overnight hours and into today. And tomorrow, we're going to be a little bit warmer. We still have that chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up here or there. Some of these little pockets could have a little rain with them, some lightning. Certainly we've been seeing that over the course of the last few days, and this instability will carry us through the week. We'll be looking at the chance of these hit and miss showers or thunderstorms pretty much any given afternoon, and some of these will linger through the overnight hours as well, and as we build the temperatures up. Thursday may be our best chance of stronger storms and some severe weather, very isolated, but still a little better chance. And then Friday may be the best chance of hit and miss showers or thunderstorms, but with less strength to them. It is 6:42. Back with more after this on Montana This Morning.
We're back, everyone. Welcome back to Montana this morning. The time is now 6:45, and take a look at that. Now is the time to be out and about driving the streets. There's barely anybody out. I ran into some big traffic. What was that, last week Thursday? I never drive around 5 p.m. and I got a big surprise when I tried to leave my house and there was cars backed up down King Avenue. Never again. All right. Well, we begin our news this morning on the international front. A U.S. airstrike in Libya has reportedly taken out a wanted terrorist. The Libyan government says Mokhtar Belmokhtar and several others were killed. Belmokhtar was charged with leading the attack on a gas plant in Algeria in 2013 that killed 35 hostages, including 3 Americans. And meanwhile, the prison worker accused of helping 2 convicted killers escape from the Clinton Correctional Facility has a court appearance scheduled for today. While Joyce Mitchell faces a judge in Plattsburgh, New York, hundreds of officers will be back out searching for fugitives David Sweat and Richard Matt. Prosecutors say Mitchell gave the men hacksaw blades, chisels, a punch, and a screwdriver bit. And Jeb Bush will officially enter the race for the Republican presidential nomination later today in Miami. The 62-year-old former Florida governor is one of 11 major Republicans running for the nomination. Turning now to news closer to home, almost 1 year after a well-known Billings artist was stabbed to death outside his studio, his killer is set to be sentenced in Yellowstone County District Court today. 24-year-old Zachary Wiseman admitted in April he murdered Michael Sample for what was likely less than $100. A plea agreement recommends Wiseman be sentenced to 60 years in prison with a parole restriction on the first 20 years. Sample was a local philanthropist known for giving out money to those in need. On the day of the murder, Wiseman went looking for money and found Sample outside his studio in downtown Billings. Court documents suggest Wiseman may have been on drugs when he stabbed Sample 3 times in the chest. Sample died at the scene. Wiseman is being held at the Yellowstone County Jail on a $510,000 bond. In Bozeman, the owner of a horse arena who is charged with animal cruelty is also scheduled to appear in court today. Charging documents against Dale Kuntz state he abused a horse and a calf. He is the owner of Kuntz Arena. He argues that the horse was injured around Christmas of 2014 when it got its foot caught between panels. The foot fell off and Kuntz said he was keeping the horse for breeding. He will make his initial appearance today on felony counts of aggravated animal cruelty and 2 counts of cruelty to animals. According to the charging documents, Kuntz was convicted of animal cruelty back in 1999. Well, Stillwater Mining Company, the largest Montana company by revenue, still has not reached an agreement with its union workers. The initial deadline of June 1st has come and gone, and as we first told you last week, an initial vote to ratify the contract had failed, but negotiations are continuing. According to the United Steelworkers website, as negotiations forge ahead, workers are told to show up for regularly scheduled shifts. 2 meetings are set for this week as part of the monthly meetings. Those are scheduled for Thursday and Friday. Calls by Q2 to union reps for comment have not been returned. 2 Montana men have died in a single vehicle crash over the weekend in western North Dakota. On Saturday night, 28-year-old Aaron Clark of Park City and 32-year-old Christopher Hoyland of Glendive were the passengers in a pickup truck when it rolled several times. According to our North Dakota CBS affiliate KX, the driver was traveling south on Highway 1806 near Watford City when the pickup failed to follow the road's curve, causing it to go into a ditch, hit a highway sign. The driver then overcorrected, which caused the truck to roll. The GMC pickup came to rest on its roof. Clark and Hoyland were pronounced dead on the scene. The driver is currently recovering in a hospital in Minot. Clark was the only man who was not wearing a seatbelt. One other passenger, a 28-year-old man from Billings, survived the crash uninjured. Now in Flathead County, the Montana Highway Patrol is investigating a crash that left one 15-year-old boy dead after leading police on a chase. According to the Flathead County Sheriff's Department, Pierce Norman Beach died near Hungry Horse around 12:30 a.m. Sunday on River Junction near Highway 2. Officials say the chase started in Columbia Falls and police officers pursued Beach. The Sheriff's Department says Beach's car went off the road down an embankment and then hit a tree. Beach was not wearing a seatbelt. There were 2 other men in the car, and we are told they were not injured. Details as to how and why the chase started have not yet been released. And in case you missed it, over the weekend, after a 5-hour standoff on Saturday afternoon, a woman peacefully surrendered to Yellowstone County Sheriff's deputies. Authorities say the standoff started as a domestic dispute on Friday night. We are told shots were fired in the house and a relative called authorities. It all unfolded at 7800 Shorey Road just before 10 a.m. Saturday. Shorey runs between Highway 3 and Molt Road. A man exited the home as soon as deputies arrived, but sheriff's negotiators had to talk with the woman to get her to come out. She had at least 2 guns, including a handgun and a shotgun. 8 to 10 sheriff's personnel, along with the ballistic engineered armored response vehicle, responded to the scene, and there is no word on what, if any, charges will be filed. Also from over the weekend, a Montana woman is recovering in the hospital following a shooting, and sheriff's deputies are looking for the man responsible. The shooting happened early Saturday morning at the Rail Line Tavern in Marion. The Flathead County Sheriff's Department says around 2 a.m. an altercation among several people ended with a 30-year-old woman from Big Fork being shot in the arm. She was transported to the Kalispell Regional Medical Center and is now recovering from surgery. This happened shortly after the tavern closed. The owner says it was a very shocking moment. The Sheriff's Department has not identified the male shooter who used a handgun. He left the scene before deputies arrived. And now it's time to take a step back into history. A building about to be demolished turned out to be a very powerful artifact for the Heart Mountain Interpretive Center near Powell, Wyoming. The Heart Mountain Wyoming Foundation will move the building 80 miles from Shell, Wyoming. The barrack is one of 450 used for the imprisonment of 10,000 Japanese Americans during World War II at Heart Mountain. The 120 by 20-foot structure was divided into 6 apartments, and one family would occupy a 20 by 20-foot room.
It's haunting in a way, and you try to imagine what it would be like to live there with your family. The gravity of walking where those incarcerees walk for a visitor, I mean, it's very important to our museum. Our interpretation is really hinges on giving people the experience of walking a few steps in their shoes. And the ability to walk into a barrack where they would have lived can be immensely powerful.
For the last 50 years, the barrack has been used by the Iowa State University Geology Field Station. The Heart Mountain Wyoming Foundation needs to raise $140,000 for the project. The plan is to move the barrack by August. Well, cultural diversity was the highlight at Rocky Mountain College over the weekend with the Festival of Cultures. Throughout the year, workers at the Institute for Peace Studies visit 3,000 kids in 70 classrooms, introducing them to culture and inviting them to the festival. According to the Institute, celebrating diversity in culture means celebrating family. Organizers say the event's success says a lot about Billings. The Institute for Peace Studies estimates more than 7,000 turned out for the Sunday festival. And last, before we get to Ed, a big congratulations goes out to a Cut Bank, Montana woman as she was crowned Miss Montana 2015. Daniel Weinman won a $5,000 scholarship and will compete in the Miss America pageant. The 23-year-old woman also took home the preliminary award for evening gown. She performed a piano solo for her talent. Her year-long service platform is titled Growing Compassion, One Scene at a Time. The first runner-up in the pageant was Olivia Dollar of Bozeman. The Miss America pageant is in September in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Congratulations to her. How wonderful is that?
Boy, that's great. Yep.
Exciting moment. She'll go far. Let's hope she wins the whole thing. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would. That would be a first, too.
We want to see your wave, your pageant wave, Ed. Give it to us. Get more on the screen. Yeah, there.
Elbow.
Oh,
do the elbow, wrist.
Hip shake a little. No, that's not part of it, is it? No?
We can add
Never
that.
mind. I'll never be Miss America. Let's just say that.
All right. Yeah. been going to pageants at Hooters. Here we go. We got showers and thunderstorms through the southern portion of Montana.
What's wrong with me?
Okay. Stronger to severe storms possible here through the yellow shaded areas. Now, this has just been added in here in the last few minutes by the Storm Prediction Center. As we start looking into the evening, overnight hours of tonight, some stronger storms could form there right along where this disturbance is moving through. A little cooler air across the region. Temperatures today will stay where they were yesterday, 60s to low 70s. A chance of showers or thunderstorms will continue to move through. Northern portion of Montana less active, and these little stray showers or thunderstorms just keep popping up over the course of the next couple of days. It'll get progressively warmer as we get into the next 24 hours, 48 hours. Temperatures rising right on through Wednesday, Thursday. Could be in the low 80s by the time we get into Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. But still, those stray showers or thunderstorms just pop up for later in the afternoon and evening. This morning, we're starting off in the 40s and 50s, 55 in Billings, 52 in Miles City. You see a few of these showers, and where you see these little flickers, that's where we had some lightning from overnight. And we'll see the same sort of pattern progress through today. Now, the cloud cover should hold back the warm up and the potential for some of these stronger storms a bit as we get into the afternoon. So we're looking at the 60s and 70s for the afternoon highs. Could be 75 to 80 in northwest Montana, but most of the eastern plains are going to hang right around 70 degrees for the afternoon highs. Because of the saturated ground, still some potential for some flooding through northern Wyoming, and that's why we have the green shades in there with a flood watch into effect. Our area today, basically upper 60s, well, say 65 to 75 across the region with a mix of clouds and sun and a little bit of a north breeze in the mix throughout the day. And then the risk of a stray shower or thunderstorms develops this evening. Could have some stronger storms around Cody, Graybull. They could have some more frequent lightning, maybe some gusty winds around some of those storms. Tomorrow in the 70s for the highs, so there's the beginning of the warm up, but that slight chance of showers or thunderstorms and a little bit of this cloud cover remains. So temperatures today around 70, that 68 would be the same as yesterday's high, and then we'll warm up progressively through Wednesday, Thursday, that slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. 6:57, Russ has a look at traffic.
Thank you, Ed, and good morning, everyone. Well, paving begins this Monday morning out there on 48th Street West and King Avenue. Proceeding, they say, north to Grand Avenue. Please watch for heavy equipment, workers, and flaggers in this new construction zone this morning. Elsewhere, work continues, of course, out there on Poly Drive from 32nd Street West to 38th Street West. Please expect Poly Drive to be closed to all through traffic from 38th to Zimmerman and from Zimmerman to Olson Drive, but all local residents are still being allowed through. And finally this morning, construction continues at the intersection of King Avenue East and Calhoun Lane, with Calhoun closed to all through traffic from King Avenue to Underpass Avenue. Currently, the traffic light at the intersection of King Avenue East and Calhoun Lane is turned off, therefore making that a four-way all street. Well, that's going to do it for Road Watch, but let's see what's coming up on CBS This Morning.
Coming up, as the search continues, we have new details about the escaped killer's plans from the woman accused of helping them. Plus, inside one of the most dangerous countries on earth, a rare report from war-torn Yemen. More real news coming up on CBS This Morning, next.
Now, we covered a lot of news this morning, but I think a lot of people are curious. How far did you get into the new season of Orange is the New Black? Since it was released this
You seriously asked me that like at
I did
4:30
already.
this morning.
We have your answer. Are you a watcher?
I'm sorry.
You don't
No.
watch? Okay, I'm the only one here then. 8th episode.
8th.
And that was, as I told Russell earlier, that was
even
with
know
a
what it
busy
was.
weekend. No, it's an interesting show, not for everybody, but if you're looking for a new show, check it out. It's on Netflix. So, but on to serious business now. I just had to tease you guys about that because I
Yes.
figured neither of you watched it. But sentencing preview today, later on today, Zachary Wiseman, he's 24 years old, will be sentenced in Yellowstone County District Court on murder charges because he stabbed one of a well-known photographer and artist here in Billings last year sometime. So I remember when that happened, very sad, and we'll find out the outcome of that today.
Temperatures today will be warming up, well, basically staying cool. It's perfect weather with a bit of cloud cover to watch Orange is the New Black. But
Stay
later in the
indoors,
day,
watch
just
it all.
Slight risk of showers or thunderstorms through the evening, but today is the day to put on a little smile and use some smile power.
There you go.
It'll take you a long way. I said that earlier. If you have a nice smile on your face.
Should we do our canned smile?
Or what? There you go. Creep out the people as they get on over to CBS This Morning. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Don't forget to put your smile on. And here is CBS This Morning.
Good morning. It is Monday, June 15, 2015. Welcome to CBS This Morning. The woman accused of helping two murderers break out of prison returns to court this morning. We have new information about the escape plan.